So what do you expect for the Cowboys to do this offseason?
No, I thought this was a lot different. Actually, last year it was the phrase all in. This year, what I pulled out of everything I heard and read and everything is the word selectively aggressive. And I think that's shrewd because you have to be selectively aggressive. You have to have seen, it's impossible not to have seen what a Derrick Henry meant to the Baltimore Ravens. You know, what a Saquon Barkley meant to the Philadelphia Eagles. And what Dallas needs is, yeah, bring back Michael Parsons, sign your guys like they did Dak and CD last year. But you got to inject this team now with some new energy, with some of that good stuff. So when they say selectively aggressive, that means go after the guys that want to be there, but also bring an attitude to that football team. Like when I mentioned to Deebo Samuel yesterday. Yeah, he's going to give me some great playing on the football field, but he's going to give me an attitude for that locker room, and the Cowboys need that collective will to add to a player that has also some skill. So I like the word selectively aggressive.
I don't like that word, Mike.
What?
Because I'd rather hear all in from Jerry Jones than selectively aggressive from Stephen Jones. Like, because when Jerry says all in, that means he should have went out there and got Derrick Henry. He should have went out there and made the necessary moves to make us relevant, to make the Dallas Cowboys relevant. So now it's like selectively aggressive means that we might make a move or we might not. And we all know that the NFL is much better.
Don't try to bust my bubble with that, Paul. What do you mean we might make a move, we might not?
That's what selective
I ain't think about it like that. Listen, no.
That's kind of what I'm hearing, too.
That's what ain't what y'all hear. Yo, stop. Listen, there's no way they cannot go and bring in new energy. They have to. They have to. You missed at an opportunity to do that at head coach. You missed last year. You get an opportunity up for a guy that really wanted to be there. Right. You cannot go into this offseason and not look at all of those things to try. The Stephon Diggs that nobody knows what's going to happen with. Well, we may not have all the money, but your brother's over here. That's the kind of selectively aggressive I'm talking about. Put some other things on the table if we can't make it all about dollars and cents.
What are we in, 2025?
Yep.
Yeah. So they ended 2023 losing to the Green Bay Packers, correct? And that's when Jerry made the statement, we're going to go all in.
All in.
So it sounds the same to me. Selective, it's the same. Because what you're saying is we're going to go all in with Jerry, and then Steven comes out and says we're going to selectively be aggressive.
Selectively that sounds aggressive. That sounds a little tentative.
That's the same.
No, all in. Wait, all in means I'm all in. All of y'all going.
But think about the cap that Michael trying to lay down right now. He's trying to be really good at capping us out.
I'm serious. I'm trying to figure this out.
I'm very serious, too.
I ain't think about it how y'all are talking about it, and I don't see it that way.
But I'm going to explain to you. Because when they lost to the Green Bay Packers, and Jerry stepped up and said, we're going all in, we started talking about who they should go get and why they should go get him and who they need to go get. Should they go get Saquon Barkley? Should they go get Derrick Henry? They need another receiver. 2 years, a year and a half removed, 2 seasons removed, we're having the same conversation.
Right.
So you believe strongly right now that they're going to go out there and do what they haven't done since Deion Sanders joined y'all in free agency. You all of a sudden think that they're going to change because of what?
Well, because they haven't had success here in the playoffs with this formula. Now, they've had success in the regular season with this formula.
They had success in the playoffs in 30 years, Michael.
But I understand. And what was holding up to this was the success they had in the regular season. But now, since that has crashed, they have to go totally and try something different.
What they better do,
went all in last year talking, and Jerry mentioned
they talked a
good game. But they had multiple guys they had to sign. Now it's just Michael Parsons, which is the main guy. You got another $20-some million put on the cap. You can work out a way to get Michael Parsons. I know Nick Bosa makes 34, something like that, million a year. 35.01 for Michael Parsons. That's what he gets to get $1 million over the top. Yeah. Get him in here. Get him in here. And now go find the guys that want to play with him on that defense.
So you
find the guys that
you still are asking somebody, Michael.
The teams are letting go. Philadelphia got Saquon Barkley for $12 million. Now, the highest.
So hold on.
And look what he did for them.
Playmaker. I want you to slow down for 1 second and just hear me out.
Well, I'm being selectively aggressive.
I want you to hear me out.
That's what I'm trying.
You just mentioned they can go out and get somebody who wants to play with Micah Parsons for pennies on the dollar. That's what you're asking these top players to do.
I didn't just say pennies on the dollar.
I said pennies on the dollar.
But then Saquon, I gave you an example of Saquon.
I'm going to get there if you like.
Pretty good one. The market says $20 million, and he took 12, and he was what?
Saquon Barkley made the decision to go to the Giants. Leave the Giants and go to Philadelphia for a team that had been to the damn Super Bowl a year earlier.
Yeah.
Why in the hell would I take pennies on the dollar to go to a team that can't make it to the NFC Championship game in 29 years?
You mean the team that went 1-5 down the stretch?
Doesn't matter. But the year before,
right. But
they just had gone to the Super Bowl.
1-5.
The recent is Super Bowl 1-5 down the stretch, but 10-1 moving into the 1-5 position. Why would I go to a bad team when I got a chance to play for a good team?
No, but moving in, Saquon would have went to a 12-5 team.
Yes.
Before that season.
But why would I? Why would I do that?
Derrick Henry would have gone to a 12-5 team.
No, you wouldn't, because they didn't pursue Derrick Henry because they felt like Derrick Henry wasn't a part of the system that they wanted to.
And that's what I'm taking the word selectively aggressive for, because they understood we blew that opportunity. We should have at least kicked the tires and see what kind of PSIs it would have taken to get him signed. And they didn't do that. And so now this time they're saying we're going to be selectively aggressive. That's the way I take it.
No.
That's why I'm hoping they do
what they need to do to improve their football team, number one, try to figure out the roster. See if there's enough to sign Michael Parsons. And if there's not enough to sign Michael Parsons, use him as trade bait before the draft to get players to help you. Now, I know you don't want to get rid of a generational, once-in-a-lifetime type player like this, but you got more holes to fill.
Yeah, but
you got holes, man.
He's also part of the hook. He's part of the hook. You know, you can go sell players to come play with
you
Michael
can't
Parsons.
I'm not going to play with Michael Parsons on a bad team.
Yes, you can.
Why?
The brand is
First of all, it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Exactly.
Paul, go ahead, Paul. You were about to talk on it.
You don't need Micah to sell the Dallas Cowboys.
But Micah in the Cowboys is a better sell.
It is a better sell.
The brand is big. It's the biggest.
It's the biggest,
But guess what? They're not winning in the postseason. Why would I want to go? I'm chasing a ring. Why would I want to go to a team that hadn't been in the postseason in the NFC Championship game in 29 years?
But that's the opportunity you have too. You just said it. You just said it. Now think about it. I
can go to Washington.
Wait. Think about it. If you do sign with that big brand that y'all were just talking about, and the team hadn't gone to 29 years, oh my God, you know what everybody's going to start saying when you sign and you become that guy that get the Cowboys back to a championship game? Boy, that was the greatest off-season hire or greatest off-season sign since Deion Sanders. Now you with your name. Now we're up there talking about you all the time. And remember, this is going to be a player that his team was getting rid of, and when you caught on a break, like the Derrick Henry. You can't see that story. That's a great story. It's an America's Cowboys story. America's team story. That's how I see this thing coming.
Don King, slow down.
You don't see that?
Okay.
Man, that'll be a great man. I'm telling you.
It's a good story, but
that's a great story.
But what evidence do we have before us that will point to the fact? Where?
The regular season fell apart, so they have to try something different. That's the only thing they were able to hold on to lately. We were 12-5 the last 3 years. I sold it. I was right here selling it too. I was putting it out every time. Putting five. And now that's gone.
Nobody bought it.
Right. No, but it kept you able to stay and say, at least we're in the playoffs. Now you're not in the playoffs, and you don't have a regular season to get you to the playoffs. You got to at least take care of that first part. And I'm saying, go get you a selective aggressive.
I don't think that anyone is looking
That's why
at
they
the
got
Dallas
to do something
Cowboys.
different.
I don't think anybody's looking at the Dallas Cowboys and saying, I'm gonna take a discount. If you told me, buddy, if you told me this was the
okay, I see.
New England Patriots and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and everybody was going there to take discounts. That's what they was doing.
I see the disconnect. Okay, here's the disconnect. Here's the disconnect. You're saying the players coming over saying that I'm not taking a discount. The disconnect is this. most of these players aren't in the position that you think that they are in when they're walking away from another team. So it is not like, okay, I'm going to have a choice of every team. They may have a choice of a certain amount of teams, and the Dallas Cowboys is one of the better options.
I don't
and
know
they
what
may
you're
decide
looking for.
to leave a few dollars on the table.
What type of talent are you looking for that's going to take less money that's any good? You just filling roster spots now? Is that what you want to do?
Players out there.
So you just want to fill roster spots, something you've been doing for the last 29 years.
Yeah, but we haven't, the Cowboys really haven't brought in anybody to make anyone excited on the football field. Really, they really haven't.
That is correct.
So this is the opportune time to change that and do something different.
But there's not going to be no one move that can correct this team. I mean,
no, it's not. It's not.
No, you just got to continue to fill the holes year by year. I'm not even sure they're a playoff team in this division, Mike.
Right.
When you got Washington emerging.
I disagree. I think one move can fix this team.
One move can fix a defense that's 28.
Well, no.
One move can fix a team that's 21 ranked scoring offense.
But one move can get an offense back to playing where it was playing for those last 3 years where they were 12-5 and putting up the kind of points that could help that defense in a lot of ways, so Michael Parsons' talent and gifts can be magnified with more going to the quarterback, because you're putting up 30 points and they're playing catch up. That's what I'm talking about. And you get me one good guy on offense, you go get me a Debo Samuel, somebody to give me that added trouble. Then yes, that one move can make them back in.
Because when I look at the numbers are skewed because you didn't have Dak all last year.
Right.
You lost CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
You lost certain players. Those numbers
what I will not allow you to do is allow him to convince you. Don't do that.
Don't something different.
Don't let him.
Defense is something different.
Don't let him do that.
Right. And you give him, if you're giving them 28 points a game, not 15, 20 points a game, they play from a different perspective. And this is where Michael Parsons' gifts and talents can shine the most.
Can I ask you a question? Michael Parsons on the field, they still was rushing for 400 yards a game.
Yes.
And he was on the field.
Because they are in attack mode. I want them I want them in passing mode, so his greatest gift. I don't want you bludgeoning my man to death.
Because everybody that came into Jerry's
and that's how you help that defense. Because the defense can't stop the run.
Everybody that came into Jerry's world, they rushed for 200 and threw for 200.
Sure did.
So when you're telling me,
it was a tough season.
It's a tough season. So how could you possibly sell me on this as a free agent that I should just take less money to get the same thing?
What's the one move?
I can't do it.
But what I'm telling you, these are guys, these guys that the team let go, and they're trying to find a market. It's not coming down to you got a choice between 28 teams and you're not chipping the Cowboys. It may come down to a choice of 3 teams. 3 teams. And the other 2 could be worse. And the Cowboys are the best option. And then you got to hit that player. These opportunities are going to be out there. There'll be a lot of players.
You would like for the Cowboys to be the best option. Doesn't mean the Cowboys
for a lot of players, the Cowboys will be the best option. It really will, Key. I'm telling you. And one player, if you turn this around, think about it. You turn this around, the next year you can write a check anywhere you want.
There's no question about it when you play for historical franchises
and put them back on the map.
And you put them back on the map. The problem is I have no evidence.
Yeah.
Right.
Deion was 28 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? You want me to keep going? Because I got some stuff underneath the desk if you want me to pull that out.
But I understand you don't have any evidence. Here that in this area you see a great obstacle. I'm looking for the person that sees a great opportunity. That's why I want them to be selectively aggressive and go find that guy that's the same thing like you and I looking at this one thing and get the right perspective. Oh, I can turn that into a champion.
So let's talk about a better team. On to the reigning MVP, Josh Allen. He took home the award for the first time in his NFL career after leading the Bills to the AFC title game. His coach, Sean McDermott, is at the Combine this week and spoke about Allen's journey to this place in his young career. So, Paul, how will Josh Allen follow up his MVP season?
Well, I think he'll be back in the conversations once again. I mean, we know he's starting to come into his prime. We saw that with the improvements that he made leading the Buffalo Bills, who nobody thought would be in a position to go to the Super Bowl last year. And I think he'll follow that up. Now, the question is, does he want to win another MVP or what's important to him? And I think what's important to him is trying to win a Super Bowl. Because once you get that MVP, you're validated, you're one of the game's best. What's next for you? You've been to Pro Bowls, MVP. Now your focus is how can we win a Super Bowl? So if I'm Josh, I'm going to the front office and say, hey, what can we do can improve this roster? What can we do on the defensive end? What can we do on the offensive end? You know what I bring to the table. He don't need much. He don't need much. We saw him do the best carrying job of any individual last year.
Literally carrying.
So, just how can he get over that hump now?
Yeah, and I think what they've done quietly is put together a team that perfectly fits the growth of Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. And let's break this down. When you talk about he was the MVP last year. He changed the way he played last year. He stopped turning the ball over, right? And that made a huge difference. But on the football field, he took his game from playing outside in to playing inside out. Tom Brady did it for years, beat you with the Gronks and the Julian Edelmans on the inside. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. Let's look at when you look at the top receivers, Khalil Shear, he had 100 targets. Dalton Kincaid had 75 targets last year. Keon Coleman outside had 57 targets. Now, the 2 years prior to that, 160 targets outside to Stephon Diggs for 107 receptions. 154 targets in 22 outside to Stephon Diggs for 108 receptions. He's playing the game inside out. Cooks got 38 targets with 32 receptions. All of that is efficient football, and you're not turning the ball over. You're not leaving the ball in the air on those long throws outside so somebody can pick six you. That's the game he's playing, and I expect him to continue to play this way when they give James Cook his new money and keep that group together again. So I expect him to be right back in that race.
Absolutely he'll be the same guy. There's no question about it because Joe Brady, offensive coordinator, is not moving. He's there. So you get a chance to work with Joe Brady again, right, Paul? You get a chance to see the same system again. Now, look, he only had 220 yards in the air average last season. He threw for 41 touchdowns, but he kept those interceptions and those turnovers down, which is key. And I keep trying to tell people, you don't have to throw for 500 yards to be successful in a National Football League. He found himself in an AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, in order to get to the Super Bowl, they probably got to figure out somebody else to knock Kansas City out of the way for them not to have to go back to KC again. So when you look at it, ever since Josh Allen's third season, he's been in the MVP mix. His first 2 years, so-so. They went out, got Stephon Diggs. He kind of took off from there, and he's been the guy ever since. So I expect for him to still be the same guy and even a little better. And I know that Brandon Beane, the general manager, will certainly go out there and grab a couple offensive weapons to help him even take the next step and shore things up. It'll be tough within the division. There's no question about it because I believe that the New York Jets will be better. If Tua stays healthy in Miami, the Miami Dolphins will be a little bit better. And I believe that New England will be a little bit better. I don't know how much better with Vrabel at the head coaching spot, but they'll be better. So it won't be just an easy, smooth cakewalk like it was a year ago.
Right, but and I don't want us to talk so much about what has happened in on the football field, with what we see and how he plays. It's also how he's matured.
Yes.
How he's gotten going into leadership. Remember, man, years ago when he was just really a runner, and then even a couple of years ago, we were right here, and I was telling everybody, keep telling him, think. All of that's gone. All of that's gone. When he walks on the field, he looks like that kind of guy now and that kind of leader. Now, we talk about he hasn't thrown as many interceptions, and he hasn't. But the key to that we really don't play up enough is it's where he used to throw those interceptions. There used to be red zone interceptions. There used to be those crucial game-killing interceptions. And that he's taken out of his game. And that's why it really has been a beautiful ascent to watch him grow like this.
Michael, who should be the MVP favorite for this upcoming season?
For all the reasons I just talked about, that guy we just talked about. Because his game is not going to change. He's going to come back and play again inside out and add that outside element to it. And I expect him to lead and hold on to the ball and do just what he did this year. He'll be right back in the race next year. I'm looking forward to it. I think Josh Allen is my lead horse right now.
See, you going with Josh. I'm going to have to take Patty Mahomes, man. I think when you look at Patrick Mahomes and the way that the Super Bowl went for him, and you go back to that Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the way that Super Bowl went, then he comes right back and he follows that up with an MVP season and a Super Bowl victory. They know that they're going to lose some players on the offensive side of the ball via free agency, whether it's Juju or Hopkins or Hollywood Brown, that they're going to have to replace those guys. But yet and still, Andy Reid and that offense is not going to allow Patrick Mahomes to look less than himself like he did this year to a degree. I didn't even know until we were in the meeting that he didn't make the Pro Bowl. It didn't even
make the Pro Bowl.
And the Pro Bowl is not a standard as it was when we played. Now it's like anybody can get into the Pro Bowl. But he couldn't even just be an anybody. He couldn't even get in. So when I heard that, I was like, they're not going to let that happen to him again. They're not going to let it.
So they're going to get him the protection he needs.
Yeah, and when you look at the odds, Lamar Jackson is a plus 550 and Josh Allen is a plus 550. So they tied there. Joe Burrow's a plus 650 and Patty Mahomes is a plus 750. They're all right there stacked up against each other. That's why I believe, Paul, he'll wind up pushing. I don't know if he'll win it, but he'll wind up pushing.
I can see him being motivated, though, after how it ended this year.
Absolutely.
And everybody kind of like, oh, he's not the same. He's not making a Pro Bowl. But for me, I think I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels on this one. You know why? Because he's kind of in a similar situation as Josh Allen. You know, he's kind of made his team a lot better. You know, he has a couple weapons over there, but, you know, not no super standout guys, but, you know, they're really good. But Josh is going to have an opportunity to put up the numbers. And, look, if they challenge Philadelphia for the division, they wind up winning the division. He could probably get the nod.
You know, he could, but I don't know if they'll win enough games.
Yeah, but they're going to get him some more help. And
they got cap
room. If you look at Washington, and I said this when I was watching something the other day and watching some of the throws he made, the scary Terry.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, out of all the quarterbacks, he made some of the most beautiful throws last year. And they were outside throws. I mean, deep throws, like perfect passes. So I'm curious to see what kind of help they will give him. And then his second year of growth. So I like that.
And that's
that part,
a great thing for Jaden Daniels. We talked about it. He gets Anthony Lynn back, Cliff Kingsbury back. He gets all of his offensive weapons back. They got plenty of cap space, the draft pick, so he's going to add some pieces there. And he's in the same system one more year. So the game is completely slowed down for him. And it started slowing down toward the end of the season as we watched him in the playoffs just dismantle the teams that they put in front of him. That's the beauty about a young quarterback with the same coaches in the same system doing things all over again.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.